Yo, what's going on, everybody? We are here, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter family. Me and Lucas here are talking about a film that was a part of Tribeca. We had the honor of being able to be a part and checked out a lot of different films. Definitely check out our reviews. What's going on, Lucas?
What's going on? This has been a long time coming.
It really has.
Literally, the dates on there say June 9th to June 20th. And man, that means we saw this movie over a month ago. Yep, over a month ago that we actually saw this movie.
Right. But
before it took Tribeca by storm and won Best Picture, Best Actress, and Best Cinematography.
Yep. And we are talking about The Novice. So The Novice, just to give you guys a brief synopsis of it, an obsessed novice rower climbs to the ranks of her college's rowing team. That is the most vague summary of this film, because the movie does not play like that. The movie takes you on a literal journey of somebody's ascension and their decline simultaneously at the same exact time. And I think that for Laura Hadaway, her first directorial debut, she knocked it out the park. But Lucas, what did you think about The Novice? What was the things that kind of immersed you with this film?
I'm gonna start off by saying that little synopsis he read is what we got when we get all the films for the Tribeca Film Festival. And I saw that, I said, I'm not watching this. I don't care about someone rowing. Why would I care about that?
Right.
And then one day I said, you know what?
Need to
check this out. I said some of the shots, the stills that they gave us, it looked interesting. Beautiful. I said, yeah, let me check this out. This is the most engrossing drama set in a college setting I've seen since The Social Network. Yeah. This movie completely grabs you, and Isabella Fuhrman,
oh my,
who's the lead. Man, this is the best performance of the year, hands down. And at this point, I know it's only halfway through the year. I don't think anyone will ever be able to match this performance she pulls off in this movie. It is sick to a level of intensity that I don't think you can see it coming, because you don't fully understand the drive it takes for someone to want to be perfect. And exactly. that was the whole crux of her character, is wanting to be perfect. She wanted to challenge herself off of something other people told her she couldn't do.
Yeah.
And as we get the progression of the character, we get other moments in her life where someone told her she couldn't do something and her drive pushed her to do it. And here, her drive is just on a level that is sickening.
Yeah, it really is. Her performance as a tour de force, you know what? It's
tour
the best.
Tour de force?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it. It is one of, like Lucas said, is one of the most, man, it hurt me to watch the descent of the character. I think that's the best way to say it, because normally you have a character, either the circumstance pushes them down a downward spiral, or, they're already in a bad place and they go up. This character is already a well-versed student. She is engaging. She kind of keeps to herself. She has friends. But everything about her obsession with things and her need to be perfect is platforming the crux of the film. Like everything, every engagement, whether it is at school where she's just doing the test over and over and over again, or maybe she might be at a party and somebody says, let's do this. You can't do that. And she just goes and does it just for the heck of it. You can see that there's this self-destructive nature about her that borders on, like, I kind of question, I was going to ask Lucas about this, that there may be some mental things going on with this girl that you can't see, but it's just under the surface. And I think that's the part of the performance that I was just like, I don't know what she had to do to tap into not just being an obsessed athlete, but a person that's dealing with the things that this character is dealing with on an emotional level. Because how much of that is really her performance versus the script versus her communication with the director? Because it feels like it's all symbiotic. You know what I'm saying?
Like, and I think that's the part this movie plays more than anything else, is showing you the obsessive nature of an athlete. Especially, it's a special type of athlete to be this obsessed to succeed. But it's also dealing with that she's like this in every aspect of her life. So then it makes you look at certain people differently. Like when I used to hear the late Kobe Bryant talk, when I watched Michael Jordan's Last Dance special, and the things they did to succeed, and it always led to other people telling them you can't do it, or giving them a benchmark that person thought was impossible for them to reach, and they took it as a personal challenge that not only can I reach it, once I reach it, I'll be better than anyone else. And that's the drive of this character, along with dealing with all the emotional stuff that she dealt with even before becoming obsessed with rowing. Like, this is a movie about rowing.
Right.
I haven't seen a movie. It's weird. The reason I compared it to The Social Network, because that's the last movie I saw where someone was rowing. But this one takes it to a different level of showing you the work it takes to do this sport. I was intrigued by the athleticism it takes to be a rower, because on the outside looking in, they're in a boat. It's like is that you automatically say, is that hard? And then this movie puts you in the life of someone who wants to be a rower, and you see the torment that they have to put their bodies through. And through Isabella, you really see the torment, because her body completely transforms from when we see her at the beginning to when we see her at the end.
Right.
It is another level of physical exertion that I didn't know existed until I saw this movie, along with, again, with her character's personal struggles.
Right. And I think that go ahead. I was gonna say so.
I just say it just compounded everything, and then it brings you to this dark place for this character that you're just like, wow, I don't know. Could you ever recover from this?
Right. And I mean, I think the answer is no. Like, I mean, well, I again, that's why I said that her character mentally is not healthy. She's not mentally healthy. And she's talented. She's driven. She's focused. But then sometimes her focus is driving her down a downward spiral. And, she even has relationships. She has a best friend, that cares about her, talks to her, but really doesn't even understand the levels of sickness that her friend is dealing with. She's got a partner. I don't want to spoil it. And the partner is there for her and helping her. And you can see where her life is kind of like going. But then the partner really doesn't even understand the levels of how there's a scene in a bathroom,
man,
that honestly broke me, because I was like, because I mean, the partner was like, look, I got you. Like, it's okay. But she couldn't get out of her own insides. Her insides were ripping her apart. And other thing I was going to talk to you about, Lucas, is that, and you said it, like the physical transformation, bruh, like when I look at this image here, this is not the same as that person we see by the end of this movie.
No, it's not at all.
Unrecognizable.
Yeah.
The physical strain. Like, I mean, the actual actress did this work, you guys. I'm not exaggerating this. Like, you literally can see physically how destructive and inspired she was.
It goes back to a story that she tells in the movie. And this is not spoiling anything, because this is a very minute thing to a lot of people, this story, but it meant everything to me when they were having discussions about her being in school and about her studying before she got to college. And she brings up, I wasn't the best student. I just worked harder than everyone else. And then she went through what she had to do to become the second best student in the class. And that story there is the whole point of this character and the obsessive nature behind it, saying, no, I didn't pass that test, but then I took that test, I didn't pass that one, but then I took that one, I didn't pass that one, I got closer here, then I took another one, then I got closer here, then I took another one, then I took all these extra classes to make sure I can then match whatever they did. And you're like, oh, you've always been this obsessive.
Exactly.
And now when it comes to sport, you've just taken it to another level of obsessiveness.
Right.
And it's the drive she has to always be the best.
Yeah.
And again, we hear from great athletes that drive can lead to your self-destruction, because in the end, you're not going to care about anyone else around you. And as this character progresses in this movie, you see her lose the people who we assume she loves the most, or the way she hides things from the people she loves the most, because that's the way she can deal with it.
Right.
This movie it's gripping. It is a thriller. It is a dramatic thriller, and it is gripping for a movie to have no murders in it. None of that.
Right.
All the tension is from this one character and her attempting to be the best rower at this university. And it's rare that you get gripped by films that don't have horror elements in it, or don't have those mysterious, thrilling elements in it. This is a very straightforward film. You know exactly what she's there to do. It's just so gripping when you see everything she does to achieve that goal.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to tell Lucas, because granted, we haven't even talked about it. We always do this. Me and Lucas, we never talk about a movie before we review it. But I was gonna tell Lucas, I was like, Lucas, most of the movie, I felt like it was a horror movie. Straight up. Like, I was like, I feel like disgusted. I feel like I'm doing this half of the time. And I mean, it's all part of the directing, the symbiotic relationship between the actress and the director, and the way that they compounded the plot with the character. Because to Lucas's point, like, there's a rival in this one. Her name is Jamie, and Jamie is just a natural athlete. Like, she just is that good. Like, she's always been the best because she just got it like that. And she's trying to get this free ride. Mm-hmm. And our main character, Alex, she's not an athlete. She really isn't. She's physically, her body. And this is to not discourage anybody, because you could always work yourself to a certain point to achieve a certain point. But there are some people that are inherently just that gifted physically to do certain things. Alex, she's not that. Like, she's not physically adept to do this. And that's why you see she goes through so many lengths to push her body beyond her body's actual limits. Bodies do have limits. And she didn't care about what those limits were. She said, bump my body. I'm going to beat you. And I'm going to beat everybody else. It doesn't matter. And the character, Jamie, just kept on looking at her and was like, through watching the movie, we're kind of assuming that Jamie's just a bad person. We are looking at Jamie like she's the bad guy. But really, we're looking at it from Alex's eyes and her perspective.
And that's another brilliant part of this movie.
And I was like,
because it makes you think this entire film. And when you're listening to their interactions, you're thinking, well, Jamie seems like, for lack of a better term here, an ass. Yeah. But then you're like, no, that's not it. It's the way the director portrays everything that Jamie is saying. She portrays it like Isabella is hearing it. So it pushes it in a different context than it was ever meant to be in.
Right.
Including eventually when they become what I assume was friends.
Right. But
the weird part is, Isabella only brought her into that realm to be a friend as competition. And it is sickening. It's another aspect of a great performance and a great director to understand, if I frame this a certain way, I'm going to make this perfectly good person seem like they're bad, while framing my main character as the good person here. And then I'm going to flip it on you to see, oh, that not only is that not the case, Alex or Isabella is a horrible person.
Right.
And it works so well here. So
Right.
well here. Again, led by a performance that just captivates you.
Right. She's the first character I've seen that is simultaneously the underdog and almost the villain of the story. Like
Yes.
literally, like she it is an underdog story, but it really isn't an underdog story. And that's hard to do. We haven't seen her act anything this big probably since The Orphan. She is the same actress from The Orphan. I think there's a sequel coming out for that later on. I don't know the context behind it. But yeah, Lucas, so what do we rest this at? I mean, it won all the awards. It got
this is a 10 out of 10 for me. This is I am honest. I don't know if I'm going to see a better film this year. I'm 1,000% sure I'm not going to see a better performance, whether it be male or female. I don't think anyone's performance can match this. This is an obsessive performance to a level that I don't think can be touched at all. Like she's amazing in this movie. Along with Orphan, which she was actually amazing in, and ultra creepy and crazy.
Creepy little kid, bro.
This here is just like, I want to see her in more things, but I'm scared for her, because if she's this serious of a character actor, I know it has to take months, maybe sometimes years, to get rid of a character like this.
Right.
And I don't want to see her in something until this character has gotten out of her system, because this character here is, oh my goodness. Again, I haven't seen something as engrossing as this in this setting, in the college setting, since The Social Network. I haven't seen a performance like this engrossing, possibly since Heath Ledger as the Joker.
I was gonna make that compare, but I was like, that's dangerous territory. I don't know if I say that, Cod.
It is that deep and ingrained of a performance where I'm like, at times it's going to be hard to see her in other things without thinking of this.
Yeah.
And that's a credit to her and the director for pulling this off this way.
Yeah, for me, it's a 10 out of 10. I didn't have any negatives about the film. And again, we're talking about a movie about rowing. You should be bored. You should be like, okay, we know where this is going. We know the trajectory of the film. But no, the director finds ways of using the plot, direction, backdrop, understanding of actors. Because, I mean, outside of Isabella, there's not a lot of notable, well-known actors in this.
Nope.
But from even like her conversations with her coach to her lead to the other people that are above her, everybody feels like they're against Isabella. Everybody, yes. The whole entire film, you feel like everybody's against her, but you're in your mind, you're starting to be convinced that no, they might just be good people. They might be okay. And she just is the opposite. And that's the part of the thing where understanding your other actors and telling them what your character is and understanding where things are going to go. It's a 10 out of 10. It's 10 out of 10. I mean, I could talk about this. The fact that we could talk this much about it for 18 minutes.
We have not seen this movie in over a month. There's really no clips available to try to jog your memory.
Not at all.
This is just all like, I won't forget this performance. This was one of those things where it just sticks and you're like, wow. Like it's so fast paced, and it's still not a short movie, but it's extremely fast paced.
Yeah.
And I think that helps with the aspect of the rowing, because rowing is a fast paced sport.
Right.
And it works so well here as we see the transition, her building herself up, the coach giving a benchmark at the beginning of this movie. The coach gives a benchmark for what a great rower can do, knowing none of his students can do it.
Right.
And we see the things that Isabella puts herself through to reach a number. And at that point, you see the obsessive nature of it. And again, it comes along with what we always hear about great athletes is it's not about you having the natural ability. It's about, are you willing to push yourself past the limits of other people?
Yeah.
And that's what she does here. She pushes herself to a limit that you just like, you're in awe. Because you're like, no, normal people weren't supposed to be able to do this. How is it that she's doing this?
Right.
And it's all mental for her, but we also see the downside of that, which is everything that she puts herself through unnecessarily because she doesn't know how to deal with it.
Right. Dude. Yeah. Yeah. Go whenever it releases, watch it. If it releases out this year, it should be in award contention next year.
It's definitely releasing out. Does it even have distribution? It has to have. I want to say someone picked up The Novice.
At this point, I don't know.
Because there's no way you win all. Again, people, this is what we mean. It is hard to get information about this film. But the point that it did what it did at Tribeca, I'm assuming someone picked up distribution for this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the moment you can see it, this is something to see.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely go and check it out. And we'll come back with more. And we just reviewed a film that might be one of the best films of the year, which is weird to say.
Hey, man, if we did this for 2 years in a row, because it's another film that we reviewed last year that to us, both of us thought was a top 10 film that's finally releasing in about a week or so.
Hey, let's go.
If we manage to pull that off again, that is amazing. Again, this is why you go to film festivals, because you get to see some of these diamonds in the rough that people won't get the publicity. They're not big films, but they're just as engrossing, if not more engrossing, than the bigger films are. And you want to support these filmmakers, these actors, the grip hands, the text, the people behind the scenes, because this is not like Isabella is great. The director, great, but you got to give credit to everybody who had any piece to do with this film. Because some of this stuff and the shots that they get set up, the performances they do, it's amazing. There's no way I can give just 1 or 2 or 10 people credit for it. You got to give credit to everyone. And this is what you go to film festivals to see, is these type of films.
Right. Well, we'll talk to you guys soon. Hope you guys enjoyed our review on The Novice. That was a part of Tribeca. Thank you again, Tribeca, for allowing us to be able to provide coverage. And we will be giving you guys a little bit more from Tribeca pretty soon. A couple other things that we're going to release out. All right, guys. Peace, everybody. Go check out The Novice.